The long-awaited moment has finally arrived, and with it, a wave of surprise has spread through the Catholic world. Pope Leo has made his very first appointments to the Roman Curia, and the reaction has been immediate inside the Vatican walls. And far beyond them, this announcement has sparked debates, questions, and even worries about the direction that this new pontificate will take. People have been waiting for this moment because the first appointments of a pope are never simple changes of names on a chart. They are signs, signals of the path that the pontificate wants to walk. With these first decisions, Pope Leo has begun to draw the map of his papacy, and the marks of his style are already clear. It is not just about administration. These are the choices that will shape the life of the Church for decades. The announcement came on a Friday afternoon, just before the weekend, which was noticed by many. This timing raised suspicions because, in politics and in media, Friday afternoon is often the time chosen to publish sensitive news. People know that at that time public attention is lower, journalists are closing their work week, and news risks being buried, whether it was intentional or not. The Vatican's choice to release the list of appointments at that moment only added to the sense that something important was happening behind the walls of St. Peter's. As soon as the names were made public, the discussion started. Some Catholics looked at the list and felt comforted, seeing continuity with the direction set by the previous pontificate. Others, however, were alarmed, reading in those names a confirmation that Pope Leo was ready to consolidate a progressive path that they already saw as dangerous. Among the first names announced, one immediately stood out. Monsignor Erik Varden, the Bishop of Trondheim in Norway, was on the list, and many people felt a sense of relief. Varden is not a typical Vatican figure. He is not a professional of the Curia, not a man of offices or bureaucracy. His life has been very different. He was not even born Catholic, but converted to the faith after a long intellectual and spiritual journey. He spent years as a Trappist monk before being called to lead a small but passionate diocese in one of the most secularized parts of Europe. In an age when many bishops are seen as administrators or managers, Varden is seen as a pastor deeply rooted in prayer, tradition, and spirituality. His presence among the new appointments has been seen as the bright side of an otherwise difficult package of choices. Some observers even said that his name alone saved the list from being completely one-sided. But if Varden is the unexpected positive surprise, the other names quickly brought controversy. One of the most notable is Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Tagle is already a very well-known figure in the Catholic world. Charismatic, emotional, and often called the Asian Francis, he is loved by many for his warm and direct way of speaking to the faithful. At the same time, he has been criticized for his style, considered by some to spectacular and to close to popular entertainment. People remember him singing at public events, smiling and laughing in ways that critics judged not very sober for a cardinal. His handling of responsibilities in Rome has also received mixed reviews, with some saying that he lacked effectiveness. Now, Pope Leo has given him an important place in the dicastery for the clergy, which is the office that shapes how priests are trained and formed. This decision is huge because the formation of priests means shaping the face of the Church itself. For the future, for his supporters, this is an inspired move. For his critics, it is risky. Another name that drew strong attention is Cardinal Arthur Roche, the prefect of the dicastery for divine worship and the discipline of the sacraments. Roche is already central to one of the most controversial topics of the last years, the use of the traditional Latin Mass. He was one of the main figures in enforcing Traditionis Custodes, the motu proprio that restricted the celebration of the old liturgy. Known for his strict interpretation of liturgical rules, Roche has often been seen as a hardline figure. Many traditional Catholics consider him one of the sharpest opponents of the Latin Mass. Now, not only does he keep his role as prefect, but he is also added as a member of the dicastery for the clergy. This double position means his influence grows even stronger. Even more striking is the fact that he has passed the usual age of retirement, 75. But Pope Leo has chosen to keep him and even strengthen his role. This, many argue, is a clear message. The Pope wants continuity, not change, on liturgical matters. Then comes Cardinal Mario Grech, Secretary General of the Synod. He has been one of the central architects of the synodal process, that great movement toward consultation, dialogue, and a new ecclesiology that marked the last pontificate. With his Maltese roots, his theological training, and his deep involvement in synods, Greg is known as a strong promoter of the Synodal style of church. By placing him inside the dicastery for the clergy, Pope Leo has made a precise move. Greg will not only continue to guide the synod, but also directly influence how priests are formed. The message here is obvious. The synodal vision and the life of priests are to be tied together. Future clergy will be formed in this spirit. The list also includes Cardinal Jean-Marc Avellini, the Archbishop of Marseille. Avellini is highly respected for his intelligence and his dedication to interreligious dialogue, especially in contexts where Christians live side by side with Muslims and people of many cultures. He is also known for his pastoral concern for migrants and the poor, themes that strongly marked the previous papacy. His presence on the list confirms that Pope Leo wants a church attentive to social issues, to migration, to dialogue across cultures and religions. In the European context of rising nationalism and tensions around immigration, this choice is especially meaningful. Avellini has often been considered Papal himself, a possible candidate for Pope, and his place in the dicastery for the clergy gives him now a role in shaping the priests who will serve the church of tomorrow. When all these names are looked at together, a clear picture begins to appear. These are not random choices. They show a direction. The Curia is being reshaped in a way that strengthens a progressive, synodal, international style of church, from liturgy to clergy formation, from synodal structures to pastoral approaches to migrants. The men chosen embody this vision, and yet, this clear choice comes with risks. For those who hope that the new pope might mark a break, perhaps give space to more cautious or traditional voices, the message is not encouraging. Instead of opening doors to compromise, Pope Leo has placed trusted men in the most delicate positions. The dicastery for the clergy, in particular, is one of the most important offices in Rome because it deals with the heart of the church's life. Priests are the ones who celebrate the sacraments, who guide parishes, who are the daily face of the church to millions of people. To decide how priests will be trained, what spirituality they will be given, what vision of the church will be instilled in them, means deciding what the church itself will look like in the future. By filling this dicastery with men aligned to a clear project, Pope Leo has shown that he does not want half measures. Observers have noticed that the choice of names could have long-lasting effects. The way future priests will be formed is not something that changes overnight. It shapes entire generations. If priests are formed in a synodal, progressive vision, then parishes will reflect that. If they are trained to prioritize dialogue and cultural sensitivity, then the church will become more international and open. But at the same time, voices that stress tradition, caution, or a more conservative approach may feel pushed aside. This is where the tension lies. Critics have already warned that such a clear direction might deepen divisions inside the church. For years now, Catholicism has been marked by sharp internal contrasts. Some want a more open, flexible church, others want to defend traditions and the older forms of worship. Pope Leo's first step seemed to align strongly with one side of that debate. Will this unite the church under a clear vision, or will it increase the sense of exclusion for those who do not share this line? These are the questions being asked today. At the same time, supporters of the Pope argue that clarity is better than ambiguity. They say that Pope Leo has shown courage by making precise choices instead of vague compromises. For them, a church that is clear about its mission, that is not afraid to face the modern world with openness, dialogue, and pastoral creativity, is stronger than a church divided by endless hesitation. They point out that the appointments also show continuity, a sign that Pope Leo does not want to break with his predecessor, but to continue the journey already started. The presence of Varden, however, remains intriguing. His figure does not fit easily into either camp. A man of deep spirituality, a convert, a monk, a pastor.